technically my little... I can't remember. Yeah, she's a halfling. I'm like 90% sure she's a halfling.
Tread lightly. Watch each other.
But yeah, one thing Essential does do well is they have encounters attack you from multiple sides though. Like, and then these guys came at a delay. So here's some like micro we're gonna do to make sure our elf lady doesn't die too soon. This feature right here is also really nice, where you can see that I know he's attacking her. Now watch me get like wiped in this dungeon, by the way, after I said it was easy. And just fucking die in the most embarrassing fashion possible. Because I could definitely see that coming. It's also nice that these mites are really cool with me going around and just taking all their shit.
What a surprise.
Hidden sack. Butter? Yeah. I fucking love butter. Potato? Oh yeah. That's what I came here for.
Let's head out.
But yeah, this game is pretty decent. I suppose the other issue with like this dungeon is like yeah, the part that I don't like about it is that it's just really big. Which is also a good thing. I like having a place to explore, I suppose, in theory. Now, there is a downside actually to siding with any side. And that is that you don't get to encounter the leaders of each side and get their magical equipment that they drop. So in siding with anyone, you do lose some loot. But we're gonna play around. We're starting with the mites, and they want us to kill the Kobold Chief Suit Scale. And apparently, Mr. Tartuccio, aka Tartuk, is pretending to be a mighty kobold shaman and is hiding literally in a pit somewhere. So one thing about this dungeon that's nice is once you figure out how the layout is, you can actually get between the might side and the not might side, the kobold side, very quickly at the very least. It doesn't like waste a lot of your time in going from side to side.
How curious. Let's give them what they deserve. Advance.
So again, in these kind of encounters where you're fighting things from multiple sides, just split up your melee so that you can intercept one of them so that they don't go for your backline. The big thing about these games is, especially in the early game, your ranged characters are really powerful. And as long as we can protect them and make sure they never get hurt, they will just deal free damage. Now, one thing to note though is in Pathfinder, this is less true than in other CRPG games because our characters actually get a huge negative to hits when firing into melee. Actually, it's not that big. I think it's like -2 or 4. It's a noticeable penalty. I think this leads to nothing. Oh, no. This is one of the useful ones. So now I'm over here. I think this will take me right to the Kobold Cave. Like, right to where the boss is. I can't remember. But I think now I should be in Kobold territory. I guess we'll see real quick. Yep. That's a Kobold, alright. Yeah, we're right by where our boy is. We gotta kill Suit Scale. So here's the Kobolds. He's casting buffs on himself. He usually just throws his like breath weapon poison, but apparently not today. So that's the downside to the kobolds, is they actually have area effect damage that they use against you, whereas the mites don't. So we want to be careful of how far we actually enter into the room, or else we'll aggro more kobolds, as you can see. Actually, I don't want you. I want you to enter as well. So since there's a bunch of kobolds here, I'm just gonna sleep them. Okay, so I got hit by an attack.
I require healing.
Come on, cast a spell already. So I got some people asleep. I'm kind of hurt, so I'm just gonna back around the corner here to get rid of line of sight. And let's channel some positive energy here. She got feared because we pulled the shaman, and we're also fighting Cheap Suit Skill right now too. So we're gonna do that to him. Uh, our warrior has no. Wait, what? Oh, that's why I can't. I was wondering why I couldn't select her. It's because she's frightened. Okay. And you're just not doing anything right now. Oh, we have Harem now who's helping us fight. So I was like, what the fuck is that? Who was that? Yeah, okay. So I'm taking some time to think about this because is this an actual hard fight? Ah! I've heard about it, but I haven't actually read about it at all.
Despicable.
I've been playing a bit of Pathfinder a little bit. I'm doing a campaign using some like other third-party rules for like spheres of power, and that's going pretty cool. I'd be interested to see how that actually goes. Okay, he's up there. Well, let's focus fire on that. No, we're finishing him off. We leave no survivors. We're evil aligned.
You think that hurt? Hey, what a surprise. Can someone help me? Advance.
So the one benefit of having Mystic Theurge, though, is...
I die.
Oh no, you die. So that fight, all in all, was pretty sloppy, but this dungeon is pretty forgiving for you guys for making mistakes, to be honest. So as you can see, magical loot. That's always good. And we found Harem, too. That's nice, too. Let's talk to him. So we can ask him, tell him to join us. There's a third option. I'm going to call him a valuable resource. Because I'm evil. I don't have friends. I just have resources to use.
We should move.
Hopefully, though, there are some more evil people I can get soon, so I don't have to trek around with all these goody people who are gonna cramp my style when I start raping and pillaging.
This requires your attention.
See, I don't know about that too much. I think I prefer. See, I'm someone who really likes 2e D&D the most. When it comes like we're going on an adventure kind of thing, but I feel like when it comes to like a mechanical thing, I think third edition is probably one of the better ones. But we'll see. The big draw for me about Pathfinder is that it has an okay system for skills that allow you to better develop your character. I looked a bit into 5e D&D, and
Need to catch my breath.
it seems interesting enough. Like, I don't think it's a bad game, but I haven't really gotten the chance to play it either, or to run it. Most of my players for campaigns are not interested in 5e D&D, unfortunately. I think it's struck a bit of a divisive sense between players because it's both good because it gives you a lot of options. Why do I have 4 people in mid? Lindsay just ran ahead. Okay, whatever.
Resting would be nice, don't you think?
I don't know. I might be your boy. I don't know. So due to strength damage, we're very slow. So what we can do to alleviate that, we can do some camping,
Let us be careful.
which I think would be a good thing to do. We've gotten wrecked a bit by strength damage. And yeah. Well, I'm happy I'm your boy, and I appreciate all the belief. So since we're in a dungeon, we gotta click this button, or else we'll starve to death. Sure, you can run an idea by me. Tell me all about your crazy class.
I really admire Guy and the Archknights of Avestan. I hope we can do some good in the world like they did. We just seem so. I don't know. We are not the heroes I imagined the Archknights to have been. Don't be sad just because we don't measure up to some book. Even if it was based on real people, I am sure they didn't always agree. Don't focus on what we struggle with. Write your story about what we do well.
Any fun to be had?
Oh, good idea. I have some of these potions on me that I can give him. Drink another one. Perfect. All right, now all I gotta do is go find Tartuk, and we'll explore over down here anyways. Could kill some spooters.
Despicable. This is for you. How
Oh,
curious.
nah. I'm not walking to that shit.
I did as you asked.
I find whenever there's traps near spires, they're the worst ones. Rune Mage works similar to a cleric, but arcane and Pathfinder stats. D8 hit die, and skills. Gosh, they use spells as runes that they can be cast while wearing armor. Okay, so you basically let's make sure I'm getting this right. You want like the cleric equivalent of a wizard, where they wear medium to heavy armor, and instead of just casting spells normally, they put like runes on their body or weapon or armor, and they do. Okay, or light armor or whatever. Whatever is your fantasy. So there are a lot of routes you could go about that. The one thing you might want to consider is, do you want them to be do you want them to function similar to a cleric where they use spell slots that they have to memorize beforehand, or spontaneously? So if you're drawing it, so to answer that question, the best way to go about it would be to say what kind of class fantasy you want to go for, right? There are a lot of routes you can go with that. When it comes to something like runes, though, and when I think like runes, and I'm thinking of some guy who puts runes on his stuff or on his armor or on things, I feel like this guy is probably a spontaneous caster, and maybe what you do is he doesn't get spells like a wizard, and he gets runes. And he can just put a single rune down, and that rune has an effect. let's say this rune, when you put it on something, just fixes it, like basic stuff like cantrips. Or maybe it's like a rune that's like a trap, like an explosive ball or fire. I think it could be cool if you could combine runes to have multiple effects. Like maybe you can't just put runes on whatever the hell you want. They have to be combined with a different rune to keep it stable there. I think it could be a cool way, as like an archetype that comes to mind, is someone who makes magical traps with the runes. So you could play with a party that's more about luring enemies into traps and turning the tables on them in that regard. It could be a pretty cool idea. I think one thing you should not do is just give them wizard spells, or if you do, make sure you reflavor them to feel like a rune. Like, there shouldn't be a rune of magic missiles, for example, but a rune of burning hands can be easily flavored into like an explosive rune. Yeah, stuff like that. Okay, so go kind of like a so like instead of actively using runes, like they would preemptively cover their body in runes, and those runes have effects when they put like arcane power into them, and then they do stuff for X amount of time. That can work too. Uh, I'd recommend a cool idea actually. Then, if you wanted to go the route where they can have a bunch of runes on them, and they spend arcane power or runic power, whatever you call it, to activate the rune, then you might want to make them more like a. I guess they'd still be technically a spontaneous caster actually. Because in theory, if you're this kind of mage, like imagine the guy like covered in like runic tattoos, or it's on his armor, or wherever he puts them, right? And he's just activating them as he needs them. I think a cool thing would make sure that they also put these runes on other people to activate on them as well, so they can both be the self-buffing mega warrior while also being someone who can play a supporting role. Okay, so this Spooter is bigger than the rest, as you can see, so therefore he's boss. Oh shit, he's already dead. Whatever. Let's see if that grease does anything. Nope. Nothing. Oh, it knocked him over. Worth value grease.
I am your shield.
Oh god. But yeah, that could be a cool concept. Just my advice if you're making something like a class or any like homebrew content for a role playing game, from my own experience, is like make sure you're not just designing it from a mechanics point of view. Make sure like it has some cool fantasy to it as well. Because a class is only as interesting as coolly as you can imagine it. That's why we have the traditional D&D classes, for example, being so popular, because of how easy it is to imagine them. It's really easy to imagine, a barbarian or a necromancer, right? So I'd recommend not to focus a lot of your if you're designing it on their fantasy. Excellent. Well, I hope you enjoy that one. Unfortunately, I totally missed this to go back, by the way. With Nat Edition, I could have continued that one if I wanted to, I think. I was like looking at the saves, but there's just like they changed the start of the game a fair bit. So I figured it was better to restart and go from the start of the game. So there's a lot of side stuff you can actually do in these caves that I'm not sure if I actually want to do it. because I don't like this dungeon very much. I like just kind of rushing through it because I'd rather get to the point where we can start managing the kingdom and stuff. Okay, okay.
Tread lightly.
Then yeah, you should make some like inspiration from those because like uh especially when it comes to like Death Knights and Warcraft,
I'll fight if I have
they
to.
have a lot of they're very popular because of how they do things. And
Advance.
a good example of how they did it would be like when Death Knights first existed, where they were in very powerful, but that power came at a cost, right? So that could be a design you go for it where maybe your runic mage is more powerful than like the average character, but there's some sort of downside or multiple downsides to being the runic mage. Like maybe for example, you have to inscribe the runes on a piece of equipment, and if that piece of equipment is broken or sundered, all of a sudden they lose that power they had until they re-inscribe a new piece of equipment with their runes.
I'll go ahead.
You know, something like that. Or maybe you want to go a different route with it and make sure that they're always kind of powerful. It's one of those things where I find, especially in Pathfinder and 5e D&D, they really don't care too much about the class fantasy. Like, it doesn't really matter in Pathfinder if you are a devout cleric who actually does what he should do to make sure he stays in the good graces of his god, for example. Whereas in 2e D&D, you would have to
The path.
actually go out of your way to appease your god. All right, so this is a bit of a difficult fight that's coming up
Let us.
with Tritusio. Let's sit back and enjoy some lore.
Oh, my impromptu rival. You are late, as always. A little advice: never join any races. Speed is just not for you. Do you mean the performance I put on for the kobolds? Wasn't this an excellent idea? The poor folks did everything I wanted, even started a brawl with their beloved neighbor mites. I did not even need to make any effort to complete my mission. That is why I will always be a step ahead of you and the like.
And this is the person I nearly made the hero of my book? Ew.
Without a doubt, vice does have its advantages. However, in the end, it always, you hear me? Always gets what it rightfully deserves.
But you don't know my mission, and won't ever know because I will never tell you, even for the pleasure of seeing your discouraged face. Don't take me for an idiot. I am not going to tell you anything. Even despite the
Yeah,
fact that I
that's me
know
with a lot of these
you.
games too.
By the way, did you
Putting
know
in
I
way
am
too
going
many
to give
hours and
you.
never beating them. I think I have almost like 1,000 hours in Baldur's Gate, and I've only beaten it twice
Submit.
because I'd keep restarting. And then eventually, a friend of mine was like, "Look, you got to beat the game. You put too much time into it, not." So I'm ignoring all these guys because oh shit, oh, that's not how that's supposed to go. So usually he gets his fireball off, and oh god, and he will kill all these guys. Oh no. I think this fight's even is harder because I think I killed him too good. Oh shit. Get out of there, little halfling. Let the big boy do it.
Protect me, please.
Oh no.
Miserable.
The weak suffer. I endure.
Okay, okay, okay. Let's not give up hope after doing too well. No. This wasn't supposed to go this way, but you know what? Whatever. It's fine.
Death comes.
Drink those potions, man. No, they didn't like me murdering their leader at all. If only they knew I saved their lives, actually, by... Here, let's cast this so they can't hit me.
Suffer.
Oh, God. Some regret. Just drink the potions, man. Just keep chugging. He has -3 health, but he's an orc. He can keep going. I have no shame in equipping all these potions right now to ensure victory. Just keep chugging health potions. Oh, he's done. Alright. So if we win this fight, it'll be the slowest, most boring thing ever. Oh my god. Though I think we're gonna lose because I killed their leader too good. I didn't just, you know. I didn't think that's how I didn't think I could kill them fast enough to kill that guy fast enough to make it so you know. All right. Well, let's load the save. That went too well. Which one? Okay, they're the same time. It looks like. Yeah, no, that fight went too well, quote unquote, and we got fucked. But that's fine. That's why we quick save. So let's So how I play these games is when a fight goes poorly, we go to Plan B.
I'm restless.
We go to Plan B, which
And
is
Lindsay was called for. What's the holdup?
Let us bide our time.
and I'd recommend doing this if you're having a hard time in the counter. Just buff up before the fight.
I won't let you
Do some shenanigans.
I wrote it like I
I
saw
shall
it.
not fail.
I think that's all the worthwhile. Oh no, I want to cast.
Your armor. It is why my armor gleams as it does.
Okay. All right. Ah, hello, Gailey. It's nice to see you. But yeah, you should work on your sneaking skills. I saw you. But welcome. Welcome to me getting killed by 12 kobolds.
Oh, my impromptu
Oh, I went through this crap. We're fighting. So this time, we're going with Plan B. We ain't doing shit. We're just gonna let him cast Fireball. And then we're going in. So we took a lot of damage, but all of his dudes are dead, so that's all we care about. Oh, and some of them do come from the rear, so we do need Jathal to go back. And he went down? Oh, Elf Chick went down. You think the mites would do something about it, but as you can see, the fight's way easier if you let the fireball go off because you just kind of win. And now we're just fighting a single Kobold Archer. See, much easier. That's how it's supposed to go. That's how you speedrun this one. So we got some loot. I like, by the way, that Tartuccio has a second ring of protection that he gives you for killing him. Alright, cool. Oh yeah, now we're done in this area. We can just leave. There's one pit stop I want to take. That's on this floor of the dungeon. There's little tiny itty bitty quests we can hand in because we killed that giant spider earlier. But before I go any further, I'm going to just heal up everyone. Just a little bit.